Jalagisiwonihi. Do you speak Cherokee?
OCO, welcome back. This is a special edition for the Cherokee Total Recall series, so grab your favorite beverage, pull up a chair, and sit down. Hatlunsluga. I'll drink my coffee, you drink your beverage, and we'll have a special coffee chat with Don. The two biggest hurdles people seem to have when trying to learn the Cherokee language are: I don't make long videos very often, but when I do, I believe I have very important information to tell you. For those of you who want to learn how to speak the Cherokee language, I am amazed that there are not already over 450,000 people trying to use this system, especially since you can apply this system for free if you want to put in the time to do the footwork. The reason this video is important is because in this video, I explain my personal theory and beliefs on how and why the total recall system can be the best option for you when you're trying to learn a language better and faster compared with using other methods. Before any of us learn to fly, we must first learn how to land. Before any of us learn a new language or new material, it's much easier to set up a structured system in our minds which will later allow us to recall the information that we've studied. And therefore, I believe that we must first learn the dynamics involved in how to recall information. I also want to start out by confirming that this system does not teach anything less than what the Cherokee Nation teaches in their programs in reference to learning the syllabary, vocabulary, etc. However, within the system, I add more steps for people like you and me who didn't grow up knowing Cherokee as our first language. I believe that as second language learners, we need these extra steps in the beginning in order, at some point, to surpass others who are learning through rote memorization or other methods. How can this happen, you might ask? Well, I'm glad you asked that question. These are my mental GPS notes. Here's an analogy to explain my overall theory and approach to the total recall system, which I believe that practically everyone can learn. This analogy compares using the total recall system to the overall stages of how to make a movie. 1. Every movie begins with an initial concept and outline. This step is pretty simple. For this beginning stage, we have a general idea of the movie. In real movies, we have a general idea whether or not a movie is a comedy, has an emotional or impactful event in the movie, etc. In reference to learning the Cherokee language, our goal is to be able to quickly recall words and phrases so we can eventually speak smoothly in a conversation with others. This is part of becoming fluent. 2. Next, our mental movie needs an entire script written to provide the details and nuances about every scene for this movie for each of the actors that we imagine being in the movie. This step might require periodic editing. 3. We then rehearse and film our movie from the beginning to the end. Some editing might occur in the mental production room at this stage also, and if so, it happens because this is intended to give us a better overall end result. 4. Next, once we have come up with what we believe is the finalized version of the movie so that we can pick out specific scenes to use, we make a trailer of the movie. After all, we want to encapsulate the essence of this movie into the basic segments which will lead us into having a good understanding about the movie content. 5. Next, and almost near the final part of this process, we pick a series of single frames from the movie. Some people might call them stills or snapshots. We choose these snapshots to create a brief slideshow. We need to choose the best snapshots to use to prepare for our final stage of this process. 6. In the next to last stage in this total recall process, we need to implement one of the snapshots as a background photo to capture the overall essence of our movie, so we can now design our movie poster while including some of the other hand-picked snapshots to recreate a basic storyline within this same movie poster. 7. The final stage is meant to achieve our desired end result. We periodically review each of our movie posters as a quick reminder of the snapshots for each movie we create so we can stay familiar with all of the movies we have seen, studied, embedded into memory, and have available to recall when we want to access the information in the movies. Let's quickly compare the system to rote memorization. It would take anywhere between 400 hours to 2,200 hours of studying by rote memorization to learn new material such as language vocabulary. Now, based on my experience, rote memorization most often appears to be a process where nobody takes control of making proactive decisions about how to study, embed the information, review the information, and then later recall that information. By this, I'm referring to the equivalent of rote memorization in how we repeatedly give each of our minds a picture in a frame, but at the same time, we have not instructed our mind where to place that picture. Your mind keeps asking, where do I hang this picture? But as people who use rote memorization, we each keep telling our mind to just hang it on the wall somewhere. This is an incomplete process, and there is an interruption in this process because nobody is proactively mapping a grid on the wall to identify where to hammer the nails for where all of the picture frames should be placed in a proactively designed order. What do I believe is the result of using rote memorization? I believe that each of our minds break down from holding all of these picture frames without having any nails in the wall to place the frames. Perhaps the equivalent of exhausting 80% of the rote hours spent toward an estimated 2,200 hours needed for studying under the rote memorization method. I equate this to forcing ourselves to have sleep deprivation, and that ultimately we become so exhausted that our brain wiring finally takes charge out of necessity and desperation, and then our brain forces us into a deep REM sleep. In my opinion, this is why many people dislike the rote memorization method. Learning through rote memorization can be a lot like sleep deprivation that finally breaks us before we perceive that we have somehow reached a breakthrough. I don't believe that this kind of breaking of our mind is necessary in order to achieve a breakthrough, and I believe that my system is a better alternative overall. I'll give you 3 reasons as to why I believe using the total recall system takes much less time overall and has a better potential for maintaining accuracy. First, note that these reasons are based upon my personal experience plus the experience of others who have used this system as it is designed to be used. This system is designed to give you all of the tools to potentially propel you ahead of others who might be using other methods. I believe that this system shows you how you can propel yourself to more advanced stages of the learning process much faster and more accurately than if you did not use this system. This general concept is free to you to use and develop, and you can create your own program if you want to, though I also have design materials that I've spent substantial time preparing if that works better for you. I believe that because you choose to use this system, you have the potential to get to your goals faster and more efficiently. Also, if you're not a fan of rote memorization, you might actually have some fun using this system because you can use your imagination within this process. Here are my 3 reasons for believing that the Cherokee Total Recall system can be beneficial for you. 1. Using this system, you essentially create a GPS mapping system in your mind, which allows you to specify where you want to put a picture frame on the wall, or even where to drive to put a picture on a wall across the country. It is because this system converts numbers into specifically ordered visual images based upon this GPS mind mapping system that it allows you to memorize as many items as you can take the time to add to your GPS memory map. This system is not limited to using sequential numbers, but it also intertwines various levels of visual imagery. 2. After encouraging a very slow beginning to master the basics of this system then allows you to advance ahead quickly because I've already come up with the concept, the written scripts, the movie is already made, which I described to you in my materials, and I've selected the snapshots for you to use and add to your final movie poster for you to file away in your mind in numeric order. I believe I have done the majority of the work for you. In order for this system to fully work for you, you have to use it as designed and review it as recommended for the best potential results. For example, you might want to spend time in the beginning editing part of the script or handpicking some of the snapshots because some imagery might work better for you than what I've suggested. But in the long run, these edits will allow you to recall the information you study faster and more efficiently. I believe you will have an incredible advantage by using this system to learn new material. 3. This system forces you to become proactive in the early stages of studying and learning. Instead of waiting until you get through hundreds of hours of studying, possibly even nearing the equivalent of 80% of your rote memorization hours, near the beginning of this program, you can intentionally place yourself in a position of having a more advanced level of comprehension. This is a choice that only you can make, and I believe it is a much better choice than waiting until your mind finally breaks down after extensive repetition under the rote memorization method. Simply by using this system to proactively learn how to read, write, and utter the correct syllable sounds for each of the Cherokee characters in numeric order is something that I imagine very few people have been able to accomplish, even when comparing yourself to the over 450,000 Cherokee citizens. How many people do you think have memorized everything about the Cherokee syllabary in sequential numeric order from 1 to 86, who can also recall each of them to be able to utter the correct syllable sounds and also write the correct syllabary characters in the exact same sequential order every time, or to randomly pick a number and know the memorized association for that number? Perhaps the total recall system is one of the few systems that teaches you how to accomplish this skill while using sequential numeric order. Is there still studying involved? Yes, but it's done through structured studying. This is not a random memorization method, but instead it is a strategic memorization method. The reason it is a strategic memorization method is that it is created in advance using a specific and familiar design based on using consecutive numbers as the basic foundation to create a GPS mind mapping system. It might not come as easy as counting 1, 2, 3, but I believe that this system is more effective and more rewarding than using other memory methods. Some people might think that this system is not yet proven, but it is actually based on a similar system designed in the 1940s by Bruno First, and these general principles for memory recall have been around for thousands of years. These methods have also been incredibly effective for those who use these types of systems. This system teaches multiple levels of the language at the same time. Therefore, you can learn at an accelerated rate, plus you're taught how to recall what you study. The two biggest hurdles people seem to have when learning how to speak the Cherokee language are not being taught how to recall information and not being taught how to intertwine multiple levels of information at the same time. The Cherokee Total Recall System resolves these issues. I know this has been a much longer video than the others, but I thought it was important to give this information to you, and I hope it helps you take the plunge into using this system to learn the Cherokee language. You can do this on your own, or you can glean from materials that I've designed, whatever works best for you. I hope you keep watching the short videos for learning the Cherokee syllabary and keep on the lookout for more advanced materials. Enjoy the rest of your day. Wado. Thank you.
If you want to see more videos like this one, click subscribe and share this link with your friends. If you'd like to have all of these memory tips in one place, then in place of one fancy drink through a drive-thru, you can treat yourself to a Cherokee language book like this one, and then you can learn all 86 Cherokee syllabary characters at your own pace. Or keep coming back to this site for more videos, whichever works best for you. You can use the Cherokee Total Recall System to memorize an entire syllabary and more. Visit www.dpbickerdike.com to learn more.